Welcome back to Design Bundles YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today we are going to be making a birthday card, not just any birthday card, but a shaker birthday card using our Cricut. So let's go ahead and dive right in. For today's birthday card, this is the file that I'm using today, and if you are a Plus member, it is only 1 Plus credit. So we are going to create this 3D shaker card, like I said, using our Cricut. You could definitely use your Silhouette or any die cutting machine that you have. You can even use your Cricut Joy if you wanted to. So this is the file here, and it comes in several different formats here, but it's going to come in a few pieces. So I'm going to show you guys with Cricut Design Space how you're going to use it. Now that we're over here in Cricut Design Space, we are ready to go. So I have already downloaded the file to my computer. And what's amazing about the Plus credits is I don't have to check out. I can simply download it straight to my computer as many times as I need to. So I've already downloaded it. And what I did was I chose the SVG version with the file. There's several ones. You can bring in each individual layer, or you can bring in all of the pieces at one time. And that's what I did. So a few things that you need to do once you bring this in here, you're going to notice that these are a little bit smaller. So what you want to do is resize these to the card size you want. So for example, if you go back and you read the description over there on designbundles.net, you're going to see that they recommend around 7 inches or so. But you can definitely do, say, for example, 6 inches or 5 inches and use a 12 by 12. So that way you have like a 6-inch card if you want to, so you can fold that in half. So on and so forth. Now I went ahead and did these 7 inches. So whenever I did this, they were all grouped together. So when the file first comes in, you're going to click right here where it says ungroup. Now you notice I don't need to ungroup mine because mine is not darkened. So if you have it dark like how this is, you're going to just hit ungroup and they're going to become individual layers. So then what I did was I clicked on each layer one at a time and I changed the width to 7 inches, which then changed the height obviously to 7 inches as well. Next, for this piece right here, I just went with 6 inches. So I went to the width, changed it to 6 inches, and it gave me a little over 1 inch high. So that was absolutely perfect. You can always check it just like so. So like I said, all of these pieces here are 7 inches for me. You could definitely, once again, do them 5 inches. You can do them 6 inches, etc. Now, if I was doing 5 inches, then this would be 4 inches. 6 inches, this would be 5 inches, if that makes sense. Now, let's go over the layers, which I've got all the pieces here, but just to explain what they are for. So you have these pieces here. So this is going to be the front of your card. You have your second layer here, which is going to go behind these pieces right here, the stars and the little, basically like the little fireworks from the candles, if you will. And then, of course, happy birthday is going to go on top of that. And then you're going to have your next little layer here that's going to go down from that dripping cake. You can see this was going to go in the middle there. And then the next layer that you're going to actually do is cut out a piece of plastic acetate, if you will. You could definitely use your Cricut to do so. You could definitely just take one of these squares here. You can go to duplicate. And then, for example, I can just cut an entire acetate out of this piece. Or if I wanted to, I could size that down, say, for example, to 4 inches, maybe even 5 inches. I'm going to do 6. So it's just a little bit smaller because this will essentially go back behind here and be that acetate piece. So this would be clear. Now what I did was I actually used the plastic that came on top of my Cricut mat, which I'm going to show you. There is a setting for that. So if you want to use the plastic, so for example, instead of tossing those out, because I don't even use mine, I hang mine on the wall, but if you do use yours to store, but you have some extras laying around, you can use that plastic and there is a setting to cut that. So it's awesome. So you can do that or just hand cut it, honestly. So you can just little hand cut a piece, which I'm going to show you that. This piece right here is so you can cut out a thick piece of foam, or you can cut out a thick piece of felt or something like that to give the dimension. Now, I'm not using this today, so I'm going to exit out of that because what I'm actually using is a double-sided foam adhesive strip. But if you don't have any of this, but you have some foam or you want to use something that's thicker, whether it's felt or something, that's going to help give you that dimension in between your shaker piece. So we don't need that piece, and then you're going to have, this is going to be the back piece here, which you could ultimately end it like that. Unless you want to have one more extra layer on the background, or you're going to use that double-sided adhesive strip that would go down the middle to make your card fold. So essentially you could get rid of this piece as well. And remember, this is our acetate. Super easy. Next, you're going to go to make it. And then from here, we're going to tell it we're using the mat. We're going to hit continue. And then what we need to do is go to continue once again and choose our settings. We're going to let this load for just a second. All right, here we go. So we're going to choose medium cardstock or heavy cardstock, depending on the materials you're using. So I have those here. If you need to search for them, just hit browse, start to type out card, for example, like so, and then your cardstock options are going to come up. Now, once again, if you're using the plastic from your cutting mat, start to type out plastic, enter, and look, it says cutting mat protector. So just cut that down to a piece that you need, put it on your mat, and it's going to cut it out for you very nicely. So Cricut has made it to where we can reuse materials, and I love that. So instead of tossing those out, we can essentially use them for projects like this. All right, so that's it. I've already cut everything out because once you're done with this, you're just sending each layer to the Cricut to cut out. So let's go ahead and put together our card. All right, so let's go over the supplies I'm using as well as the layers. So let's start with the supplies. Number one, this is a glitter cardstock. It's really smooth. This one is a smooth glitter cardstock, but you can use a textured if you wanted to. You could definitely even just use another colored cardstock. And then I just have my basic layers here. I have my top one, which is the white here. We have that yellow layer. And as you can see how the stars and stuff are going to shine through that. Hopefully you guys can see that with that washout. I know that the light tries to wash that out sometimes. Then we have the purple drip, which is like the icing here. Then we're going to have that plastic acetate that's going to go in between these layers here. Like I said, I just pretty much hand cut this one out. And then your pink layer is going to go behind that. So you see how I was saying like we could end it here. We definitely do not need the blue piece unless you're going to be using like a hinge method and you're going to create your little card here. You're going to create that. Now for me, because what I am doing, I am going to use it and I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm actually going to use a paper trimmer here in a minute and an extra piece of the white cardstock. So now that I have all of these pieces cut out, the next thing we need is some foam squares. I'm going to use those to help with that dimension. Once again, you could use that cutout piece for the foam. And then I have some foam. This is double-sided foam strips, if you will. This is what's going to help us in between these layers here for our shaker. I've got some nice glitter here, so hopefully you can see that super cute chunky glitter. You're also going to need some sort of adhesive. I'm using the Tombow glue here, but you could definitely use a glue stick if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and start putting this thing together. All right, so first up, let's start with the front of our card here. So what I'm going to do for this happy birthday is I'm going to take a couple of these pieces of foam squares. So I just want to take some tiny little pieces here, just in a few spots, to pop this up to give it some dimension. So I'm just popping these on here. And you can always cut these down if you need to, just a little bit. And let me cut this really quick so I can have a little bit of a smaller piece here. And let's just do one right down here. All right, so next up, I'm going to go ahead and pull the top pieces off of all of this. All right, so now that I've pulled those off, we're going to go ahead and pop our happy birthday down right there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this up me just so I can make sure I'm putting this where I want it to be. I think that looks great. So hopefully you guys can see that there. It looks really good. All right, so first layer down. So now we're going to go ahead and glue down the next layer, which is this one here. So I am going to just take my Tombow glue here. Take this first layer here, we're going to line it up. All right, just like so. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start to smooth that out. So there we go. Nice. So there's our first piece. And then we're going to repeat that same step for this one right here. So far, so cute. Love it. All right, so now this is where it's important. So number one, we are going to create our little foam piece, if you will. All right, so what we're going to do here is I am going to go around these little windows here on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do it here. And I'm going to go ahead and windows here, like So I'm going to get my little foam strips all the way around like this. As you can see, I almost made a mistake and put my foam down first. Your acetate, your clear plastic has to go down first, okay? So this goes down first, and then we're gonna create our border. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we are gonna go ahead and just take some of this glue once again, and we're gonna go all the way around this, just like so, making sure we've got it really good. And then we are going to place our plastic down. Like that, just smoothing everything out. And then we'll kind of give it just a second to dry down. All right, so as you can see, we've got our clear plastic on there. This is drying down. So once you've got that pretty dried down, you're just gonna give it a few seconds, few minutes. We're gonna go ahead and start to trace out around this to create a box to hold our glitter. So you want some chunky glitter like this. And then we're going to go ahead and start to work on this. So let's go ahead and start out with this longer strip in between. And you really want to let that acetate, like I said, glue down. You could definitely just use, if it was me instead of the Tombow going back now, I would probably prefer to use like a double-sided tape, like a little tape, little runner, if you will, a little tape runner. Use that for the acetate instead of the Tombow glue. It's going to dry so much faster for you. All right, before I start filling up our shaker card, I'm going to go ahead and start getting I need the rest of this to pop up pretty much as well. So just to make the whole card even. So I'm going to go ahead and go across the top here. One right here, this corner, as well as this corner. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and pop these off. Oh, I missed one right there. This is just going to help give the entire piece here all of the support that it needs. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just go by and peel all of these off really quick. Now we're ready to go. You can see this is what it's looking like here. So we are ready to fill in these little windows here. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of that glitter here. So this is chunky. This is a pastel mix. This one right here was from Michael's. I'll have some down below that you can just grab online. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up here. You don't want to have it too full, and you want to try to be careful. You see how I've gotten mine on that strip? I've got to get those off the strip where I can, because it's not going to stick in those areas, which is then going to cause that not to stick down, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm just trying to get these pieces back in here, trying to clear up as much as I can of those little bitty pieces there, and we are ready to go. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my pink layer here, get it down on top. I'm going to push down these pieces, and then I'm just going to smooth this down. Now you guys can see, hopefully you guys can see that really good. You guys can see how that shaker card's coming together. So now all we have left is to create our card, to put the whole base together, if you will. All right, so the way that I have decided to do this is for this layer right here, grabbing my paper trimmer here. Since this card is 7 inches, I need it to be 7 inches. So we're gonna do that here. I've got another piece of white cardstock to match this piece here. All right. We've got 7 inches, and then I'm gonna do a quarter. So I'm gonna do 7 1/4. There we have it. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to grab my score blade on the back side here. So I just do it right here on the back, which is the black one. So this one is not a knife blade. This one has a score tool in it. And I'm just going to, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to pop this off just like so. And then I'm going to pop in the next one like that. We'll set this guy out of the way. And the side that was 7 1/4, so I'll make sure I figure that out. Let's double check here. 7, so this is 7 1/4. All right, so I'm gonna get it at that. I'm gonna get it at the 7 mark now. So I want to score that quarter, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and score so that'll fold. Okay. Get that out of our way here. So now what's happening here, so hopefully you guys can see this little square line here. I'm able to fold this over, right? So what I am going to do here is I'm going to be able to glue this down right here. So then whenever we pop this on top, it's going to create a hinge, if you will. So this will actually glue on here. And it's going to create that hinge. All right. So let's start here. So step one, we are going to go ahead and get some adhesive here. I'm just going to hold it for a second so it can tack down. Doesn't take too long. All right. And then now I'm just going to go over the entire front of this guy as well as that strip. Make sure you get your white strip there. And then I'm just make sure to go all the way around and then get a little bit in that center there. Flip it over and you see that? See how we just created that card? So cool. So everything we have cut out with the Cricut except for the one piece of cardstock. We cut it down to 7 by 7 1/4 and then we scored it. Now you can definitely do that inside of Cricut Design Space if you want to. You could have your score tool do that for you and have it completely cut it out. And then you're just going to create that hinge method there to create that card. And there you guys have it. How super cute is this? Hopefully you guys can see that. We've got the little shakers inside so they can just wiggle that around. If you overfill these, they're not going to have a whole lot of movement, but you can put quite a bit. So as you've seen there, I did put quite a bit in there and it looks like this really fun confetti cake. It is just super duper cute. I love the colors. And then you just have that fun shaker. Then creating that little edge there with that score line and then putting it in between. So that's where keeping that blue layer I talked about that you could potentially just get rid of. If you, for example, were going to be gluing that right on top of already a folded pieces, say for example, you were doing like a 4 by 4 or 5 by 5. Say for example, you were just gluing that on top, you could get rid of the blue, but if you're going to create a hinge method, you can do it in between there. So that way you're hiding that little hinge. And then ultimately you create this entire card. So I think that came out really, really cute. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, if you guys have not already joined our Facebook community group, make sure you guys definitely check it out. We have giveaways over there as well as tons of inspiration. So much fun over there. So definitely make sure you guys check it out. We have it linked down below for you guys. And if you guys enjoyed this, please hit the like button down below and subscribe. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.